Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with daily technical update. It is Thursday the 14th of August, and as usual this video is for educational purpose only. There's no advice or recommendation whatsoever intended. It is purely to demonstrate how I'll try to read the market, how you can use the charts and the indicators, technical indicators to try to read the market. And this is not a prediction tool at all. It is purely a risk management tool where you can see how you can try to trade the markets with the least amount of risk. But again, there's no advice or recommendation doing this. We'll start with Nasdaq 100, opened higher yesterday at the 138.2 projection of this little correction there. And then we set back a little bit and basically closed unchanged compared to the day before. So let's see here the next couple of days. We can see there's actually divergence on the RSI values here lower than here, meaning that the strength indicator is showing that we are in exhaustion mode. So that will be something to watch the next few days. The previous peak here at 23,589 will be a little bit of a support, of course. So if we start moving below that, then maybe we have a top in place. But for now, we do not just yet. So we can still push higher. Pre-market basically unchanged. And moving on to the S&P 500 and Dow Jones here, we have S&P 500. Formed a doji yesterday where market opened and closed more or less the same price. See massive divergence there on the RSI values here and here, well, massive drop. So maybe we are in a bit of exhaustion mode at the moment, but still we don't have a top and reversal pattern in place. Dow Jones pushed higher, but closed still below the resistance there at 45,060. Which will be key. Also a bit of divergence here on the RSI, but as we can see here, it closed just below the 60 threshold, but above the falling trend line. So next few days could be decisive. Will it close above or not? Will it slide back? That would be key to watch. On the US, that was the US market. Moving on to the Asian markets. We have Hang Seng opening higher, actually opening higher, a new high here, but sellers took control throughout the session, and we closed just slightly lower than the previous day. Quite interesting is that there's still no divergence on the RSI. So if we add this falling trend line there, well, this close here is lower than there, so it's actually no divergence. Indicating we could still move higher, but it will require a close above the opening price today at 27,767. So maybe we'll have a little bit of a setback down here to 25,176 support area. At least it was not a good sign that sellers took control throughout the session. On the aftermarkets, we can see it still trading lower here on the CFD. Nikkei future, same picture here actually, open higher on the future and seems to be closing lower. So if it forms this pattern here, this candle, that's actually a bearish engulfing, taking out the previous bullish candle. Now a bearish candle, you can see how the body here engulfs the previous body. And if it closes like that, well, then we have a top and reversal pattern in place, and we could see a correction lower here for over the next couple of days, possibly weeks. So let's see about that. Keep an eye on it. If it takes out, it needs to take out today and close above today's peak at 43,480 to demolish and reverse that top and reversal pattern. In Europe, good days yesterday where we have EuroStoxx pushing higher. R-star is still negative sentiment after closing below 40 threshold there. We had it didn't close above 60 threshold just yet, and I think it requires a close above 5,420 on the actual index for that. We are above the cloud. We are above 55 moving average, which is slowly turning around. 21 moving average already turned around, so we possibly could see this bullish picture playing out, but it's not confirmed yet. And we can see here pre-market here, prior to the opening, we are setting back a little bit here, illustrated by the EU50 CFD. The DAX still below the falling trend line, still negative sentiment on the RSI after closing below there, but it's just marginal. Really needs to get back above this falling trend line and above 24,445 to resume uptrend. And here pre-markets are basically unchanged. Moving on to the FX market and euro dollar. We have euro dollar testing the 117 area key resistance. Did it close above? Well, just marginally closed above yesterday, but this is, you see, this is the 786 retracement of this correction here, and where it's really struggling. I think it will push higher eventually, and I think also that the RSI will close above 60 threshold, but I want confirmation, and that's what you need when reading the market. You need confirmation. Guessing is not an option. You have to, of course, you can estimate and you can assume and you can have look at several indicators, but for now I need the confirmation. However, we have a little bit of a bullish trend there, and we are above the cloud. We are above 55 moving average. I think it will push higher, and I think if you see it pushing above yesterday's peak there at 117.30, that will materialize. But for now, it is not still there. It can still be rejected at 117 and slide back lower. On cable, sterling dollar testing the resistance here at 135.90. Could set back a little bit, but RSI actually closed above a 60 threshold yesterday, and I think it eventually will break higher and also push towards 137 and higher. But maybe we could see a little bit of a setback before the next push higher here on sterling dollar. Euro sterling. Euro sterling at 86, really key support area here at around 86. We have the 55 moving average coming up that will give it, that will add to that support. I think we could dip below it, and if it takes out that, well, then there's not really much stopping it until 85 and a quarter down here in this region, possibly a little bit lower. We can push this one down here. So 85 actually. So in this region here, there will be some stronger support, but at the moment 86 will be a fairly strong support for euro sterling here too. I think we could see a bounce. RSI still above the 40 threshold, but if it closes below, then there's further downside for euro sterling. The dollar yen has taken out these lows here this morning and pushing lower, and we're looking 145.85, possibly lower, because this is not a very strong support, but there is some, so you see it also going back to here. So that's around these levels here, around 145.75, 145.85. There's some stronger support. Could dip down to test the lower rising trend line though, but we are in a bearish push. However, the RSI hasn't closed below 40 threshold yet. I could imagine that we dip down to this 145.80 area, 85, and then bounce, and the same with the RSI. I could imagine that playing out, but it's not a given. The euro yen turned around after hitting the 786 retracement there at 173, and with a doji. So we have a bullish candle and a doji and then a negative candle. So it's a bit of a top and reversal indication, getting close to the 61.8 retracement here, just below 171. I think we will push lower towards the 786 retracement, 170 spot 43, and we could actually drop all the way down to the stronger support here at 169.70 area, where we have the 55 moving average coming up. For euro yen to resume uptrend, a push above 173.3, and a change this peak here is required. We have Aussie yen also selling back after hitting 786 retracement 96.80. So see how we work with these Fibonacci levels, as it's not a given it will hit them, but it is what sometimes the best you have just to give you an indication. So it's also turning around here after a couple of dojis and then now a bearish move. And what you can then do, let's just zoom in a little bit. You can add a Fibonacci to this and say, okay, it has gone between 38.2 and 50%, and next one is at 61.8 at 95.63, possibly reaching that. I actually think we'll dip down to the 786 retracement 95.30, where we have the 200 moving average and we have the 55 coming up. So I think we'll see it pushing down to around that level there, and then we'll get a bounce possibly. The sterling yen, well, yes, it did close just above 200, and then it got tired, and then we adjust the Fibonacci and think, okay, we can see a dip at least down to 38.2 retracement. We are almost there. We're all been almost there. We could dip lower, but if it takes out the peak here from yesterday, well, then the push is towards the 202. So maybe a false break of the 200 that couldn't really follow through, and now we are sliding back here. We could slide back all the way to the 61.8 retracement on 197. That is not unlikely, given that we have this massive sell-off here. So let's see how the day ends. I could imagine it pushing lower. The Aussie dollar spiked higher also this morning. Didn't get all the way up to 786 retracement here at 65.80. Can still do it, but you can see RSI got rejected at 60 threshold, so now we are sitting back a little bit. So Aussie dollar a little bit frustrating at the moment. We're now without a clear signal. I mean, we are above the cloud, we are above 55 moving average, but RSI rejected 60 threshold, so it's not really, so it's still in a negative sentiment after closing below 40 threshold here. So let's see. I think if it does take out the peak today, then we will have this move higher that can close RSI above 60 threshold, thereby indicating positive sentiment. The dollar Canada, and let's just zoom in a little bit. Dollar Canada, well, also sideways here, but you see it's being pushed down by the 100 moving average. It only got up to the 50% of this downtrend here in a bounce. Still positive sentiment on the RSI, so if it takes out that level there, and you can then add a horizontal line to it to say 138 and a bit, 138.06. If it takes out that, well, then there could be potential higher to this peak here. But the 100 moving average coming down is really a struggle to get above just like that. If dollar Canada takes out 137.20 to the downside, well, then expect the pair to push lower, and we can add this Fibonacci also here. The next push would be to 136.90, possibly lower. Sterling Canada has reached the 786 retracement of this downtrend here at 187 and a change. Bullish trend, spiked above it, positive sentiment on the RSI. We could maybe see a little bit of a setback here the next few days before the next push higher, but I feel confident, and again, this is not advice, this is just my reading of the market, that it will push higher eventually towards the previous peak here around 188, 188.30. Given that we have this positive sentiment on the RSI, but we could have a little bit of a correction short term, so brace yourself for that. Euro Swiss stepping sideways just below 94.40, 45 resistance. I still think we could see it being tested, possibly taken out, and if it takes it out, well, then there could be room up to 95, just below 95 level here. Be aware it could slide back, so it's a little bit of a limbo despite the fact that the RSI is showing positive sentiment. Moving averages, it's like they will meet here fairly shortly. 21 is about to break above the 55, maybe tomorrow, maybe Yeah, could be tomorrow, but the 100 still declining and 200 flat. So I don't think it will be a massive move, and I think it will be just maybe just range bouncing there. The dollar Swiss has been sliding a little bit lower. Still positive sentiment on the RSI, indicating could push higher. But here we also have the 100 moving average coming down, giving it a hard time to the upside. And if it takes out the 80 level here on dollar Swiss, well, then I think the downtrend has resumed or will resume. Dollar index testing the 786 retracement here at 97.54. RSI is still in a positive sentiment after being above 60 threshold, but it's struggling. It needs to get back above 98.50 to establish at least a short-term bullish counter trend that could be short-lived, because we have the 100 moving average coming down. They're kind of telling it, well, the medium-term trend is lower, and we're also below the 55 moving average. So and we have established the bearish lower low, lower high, and lower low. So it really needs to take out that this little lower high there to demolish this picture and possibly bounce a bit. So let's move on to the metals and gold. That has bounced from the 15%, which is a little bit unusual, but we do see it. Trying to crawl higher, still positive sentiment on the RSI, but there's been massive divergence. You see RSI values been declining, market has been slightly higher. And really, to confirm an uptrend, it needs to get back above and take out 3,410. Could try to crawl higher, but if it takes out the low there a few days ago at 3,331, well, then I think we'll be looking at 3,300, at least this 786 retracement there. The silver closed above the resistance here at 38.25 yesterday, 38.30. Not that convincing move just yet. We need RSI closing back above 60 threshold. We are still in a positive sentiment, but if it does close back above 60 threshold, well, then we can see it taking out this previous peak here at 39.53. But until then, well, we have established that short-term bullish and higher high, higher low, higher high. And if it takes out 37.50 with a close, well, then this bounce there has been reversed, and silver is to slide back lower. But 55 moving average telling us we are moving higher. And let's see if we can get this confirmed by a close above 60 threshold on the strength indicator. Platinum, several tries to push higher, peaking above the minor resistance there at 13.57, but hasn't really materialized. I think it will do it eventually, but it will take some time. And if it does, well, we could see suddenly a quick push towards 1400 and the 61.8 retracement. Still 1261, that is a key. It should stay above for a possibly bullish move. And finally, on copper, when we're talking metals, still in this range here between 433 and 465. It doesn't really do much, and then I think we can see this picture playing out for quite some time. On the energy side and crude oil, here is WTI, lower again yesterday. It's just dipping lower, lower, lower. And it could still slide down to around the 60 level here, RSI negative, but be aware that we could maybe see a little bit of correction, a counter trend taking above 64. And again, this is how you can work with it. Say, okay, maybe we had a short-term a little dip there, and then it could bounce up to the 65.20, but I don't have a bottom and reversal indication in place just yet, so I will be a little bit cautious about this. If it takes out the lows from yesterday, which it could easily do, well, then we are looking at most likely looking at 60 level. Same here on the Brent crude oil, also negative sentiment, bearish trends, and could slide lower in the coming days and weeks. We can see the moving averages apart from the 55 is slightly declining, indicating that's the way we are going. So but let's see, a counter trend, a counter mood could occur, but for now we are in a bearish trend. The European nat gas, well, taking it easy here above the 32, where we have some support here, 31.90. We are still in a bearish trend, but pausing a little bit, need to take out that 31.90 to further confirm it. So, but now it seems like maybe we are forming a slightly falling channel like pattern there, and it needs to break above these peaks here to above 35 to really turn this around. So let's see, but we are in a decline. The US nat gas, well, I think we could see a little bit of bounce, but if it takes out 275, then we're looking at 256, 250 possibly. Moving on to US Treasury yields, setting back again. It pushed lower, and when we talked yesterday, it had did most of the work, and it could easily test 420 here on the US 10-year Treasury yields. All the moving averages up here declining, and I think we will see it take out 420, and then we're looking around 412 as support or possibly lower. If you're moving on to the European yields and the EU 10, well, yeah, it did close above 270, but then it got set back. So it's still in a kind of a range bound area, but with with higher lows here. So the trend is slightly up if we're looking at the closing price, because 2 days ago it closed higher than it's done for a long time. All these closing prices here. So I think we maybe see a further setback to around 265, possibly down to the lower rising trend line here, but you will see 55 moving average coming up, so I think we could see a bounce here. And if it takes out the peak here from a few days ago, well, then the uptrend will resume there or continue. The UK 10, really not much to say. When we talked yesterday, it was already rejected at 465, so that's key, and of course up there at 470. On cryptos, well, we had a new all-time high in Bitcoin, and then it got tired and setting back, but bullish sentiment or positive sentiment on the RSI, but there is divergence, as we can see here. We can see the RSI declining, market moves higher, but still we are in a bullish trend. So let's see, but a setback incident. It is Ethereum that is running the show at the moment, but also here we can see we have some divergence on the RSI, but trust the trend. However, we are maybe getting closer, short term at least, to exhaustion mode. Will we get to the 261.8 projection of this little correction is debatable. Let's see what it will bring today. Will we get a doji and then a negative candle so we have a top reversal in place, or will it push higher towards 4,900? I would not try to sell short here for sure. All right, that's all from me today. Have a nice day, and talk to you again tomorrow.